So I'm really excited. We've got Mairi Taylor, and this is a little Zoom Biomechanics Coach interview that I'm super excited about. So I've known Mairi for years. We've known each other for ages.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah, we're involved in a lot of things collectively. We have been over the years, kind of like business, personal, all that stuff. So for anybody watching, who are you? What do you do?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think like most people nowadays, Rachel, I'm in a metamorphosizing, transformational place and bizarrely finding my way back to my roots. So very much I started my business as FABfitness. It was all about movement. I was Pilates teacher, group exercise, and probably the way that most people found their way to you was my customers were coming in with a little ache here and a little ache there, and I was like, "Whoa, I don't really know what I'm doing." Heard about biomechanics, and anyway, that's another story for another day. Found you, found Martin, got involved in I Move Freely, and very much then was using my biomechanics coaching as part of a well-being package, because I was predominantly working with women pre and postnatal, perimenopausal, and was using my biomechanics coaching to help them realign, come back into their bodies, help with their pelvic floor dysfunction and diastasis. And then I found the world of essential oils and aromatherapy and completely fell in love with that. So bolted that onto my business as well, and then found myself as an aroma touch trainer. So I actually provide an essential oil experience. There was a nice link in there. And then we found ourselves in this parallel universe. So who am I? Mairi Taylor, menopause rock star, here to inspire and help women find their way home back to themselves. And how do I do that? Through nutrition, through movement, through mindset, through essential oils, so that we create this essentially fabulous life.
Wow. We practiced that a little bit then, Mairi. I feel like I want to applaud you. Woo-hoo!
I do. It's the first time. Yeah, let's keep this recording.
Yeah, stick that out and stick that.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's I think for me, and I'm probably jumping ahead, Rach, I don't know about anybody else, but it's all the practice, it's all the things we've been doing that we know we should be doing. It's knowing your elevator speech, it's getting really clear on who you are, because if not now, when?
Yeah. And I think kind of that brings me on nicely to this kind of my next question really, which is right now we're on lockdown. We've been on lockdown for 6 weeks. For you, sort of FABfitness, everything you do, how have you been coping and managing personally and professionally in the lockdown? How are you getting on with it?
Okay, so I'm going to give a big caveat first and foremost, because I think one of the best quotes I've seen during this time is, we may all be in the same ocean or swimming the same sea, but we're not all in the same boat.
Yes.
So, and I've been doing a lot of self-work over this time, and you could call it luck, or you could call it the choices you've made that have brought you here today. But the one thing I want to make really clear to a lot of people is, I've got no children, so I'm not homeschooling. I don't have elderly parents that I need to be mindful of and looking after, and still trying to help and support. My partner's a key worker, so he's still going to work every day.
Yeah.
And we've had the conversation that had he been furloughed, were we both working from home, this might be a very, very different a very, very different picture. So I can only talk from my experience, but I'm very mindful that my situation, like yours, like everybody else's, is unique to us. Now, I already had an online business, and who knew that making that choice 4 years ago would have held me in good stead for this. And Dan works for a French company. Sorry, Dan's my partner. Some of you may have met him. So we were kind of a little bit ahead of the curve because of what was already happening in France. And we were meant to be going on a holiday. We could tell it was going to get cancelled. So we were already making decisions, feeling like this would be coming. And the turning point for me was probably the weekend that we were told we hadn't gone into lockdown, but social distancing, we needed to start being mindful. And I started to get the emails from my customers going, don't feel comfortable coming to class, won't be in class next week. And I just thought, okay, I've got to grab this quickly and smartly. So I just made the decision there and then, because we all know we have the customer who comes with the cough. Now that could just be a normal cough, but in this current climate, I didn't want everyone else then starting to feel uncomfortable. So I already have a room, this is where I'm sitting now, where I do treatments and PT. So I simply emailed all of my clients and said, we're going live, we're going on Zoom, this is how you use it, this is what we're starting. All your classes are carried over. We're going to do some extra classes for free so we all get a feel and a flavour for it. And I just made that decision for everybody. 80% of my class members have come with me. And more importantly for me, I've now got people from Huddersfield, London, Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, old friends, clients who've had babies or are single parents and just can't get out in the evenings, all joining the community. So that gave me a sense of purpose and was also really important to me, because linking in, I so strongly believe in what you were saying yesterday, Rachel. We have a duty of care. We have a skill set, we have knowledge that's is supporting people's mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being. And I wanted to give my clients that sense of normality. So we kept to the timetable that we already knew. So we know we do Pilates or Fabulartes at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. We still do it. We do Fabercise, kettlebell blend, kettlebell. I kept to what they know so that they knew that that was happening. And also because I've got that income stream from a multi-level marketing business, which I, to a degree, have no control over because it's people's choice whether they spend or buy. And we work very hard, as I'm sure a lot of people do in our community, on creating lifestyle. So essential oils weren't just a nice to have, they are people's lifestyle interventions. They use them for their physical, mental and emotional business. So I kind of had, I was intrigued to see what that would happen. So that then gave me bandwidth to decide, okay, you need to stop hiding, believe it or not, and you need to come out from behind your safe little groups where everybody knows you and just get out there and be yourself. So I then decided that every morning I would get up, which would also give me some accountability, because I think that's really important for us when you're saying, how are we coping? I still go to networking meetings. I'm still having, one-to-ones. I still have a diary that I'm completing. And I decided I was just going to show up every morning, being me, reading a card, smelling some essential oils, and doing some I Move Freely. Because we all know how important it is. And I love, lotion, motion is lotion. It's all about nourishing the body. And I did have a moment where I thought, oh my God, I'm being too much. People aren't going to get me. I'm going to be getting all kinds of haters and all the rest of it. Complete opposite. And I've been doing
right
that.
Now, particularly, I think people are more appreciative of anything we're doing. I think it's the other way around, Mairi. I agree totally.
Yeah, and again, for me, because of what we do, if we don't support people and stop them all looking like chairs, so I've been doing stuff on my bed, on my sofa, on a rubbish dining room chair, just to show people and reminding them at the start of the day, drink your water, move a little bit, here's your adaptations. And that then led to me having some one-to-ones, and people then saying, oh, I'm not quite getting this or this. Okay, let's just get on a Zoom one-to-one, because I can't do that when I'm just on a Facebook Live. So that's been really beneficial and built, you know, confidence. And then, of course, then, you know, we're still doing what we want to do. And that consistency of showing up has then led to being invited to do other things. Because I think we're all looking for the leaders, or the who's showing up, who's being consistent. And that, for me, has really helped me physically, mentally, and emotionally, that I've still been able to deliver the service that I wanted to deliver, just in another way.
I think it's so important, Mairi, that when you're in a situation like this, which is unprecedented, I mean, the biggest comparison I've seen is to the 2008 economy crash, where you didn't have a virus that meant we couldn't go out of houses, pretty much. So it's completely different. It's just a double-edged sword. So I think as much as we can, you've got that initial kind of 2 weeks where I think the whole of the UK was in stage 1 Kubler-Ross and stage 2. I was there, panic mode, oh my God, shock, fear, anger, depression, what's going to happen? And then you kind of come through to stage 3, and people are looking for, as you say, leaders, people who are consistently or still out there saying, it's okay, I've got a plan. This is what we're going to do. And then keeping the routine, normality. We've got a new
Absolutely.
normal. The new normal is the same structure, as you say. It's just on a screen for now. We know it'll pass.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely right. So, well, with all that in mind, then I'm intrigued, because I keep asking all the biomechanics coaches I'm chatting to, well, anybody actually. We can't think short term alone. I know everyone's kind of right in this short term zone. I need to pay my bills. Maybe not some, but like some more than others.
Yeah.
We have to think like long term. What do you think? I don't know if you've thought about it already. How do you think long term, the lockdown, the virus, this whole online Zoom thing is going to affect the industry like years from now? Do you think it will change, or what do you think?
I think massively it's going to change the industry. I think there's a short, medium, and a long term. So I'll just very quickly talk for myself. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to teaching in a classroom.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Really. I have zero need to do that. Now, maybe I'm being naive.
Right.
Maybe once everyone can come back outside, I will have my customers will drop off because they want to be in a room. Because for some people it is that physically leaving the house. In the same way, when I used to do treatments, I've never gone to people's houses. They come to me because I need them to be disconnected from their own environment and space. But for teaching my Pilates and kettlebells, I have no desire whatsoever, because one, I can just walk upstairs to my studio. So how lucky am I? It's a bedroom, let's call it a studio. But two, I've even had customers saying, oh my God, I've not had to do the 20-minute drive. I've not had to worry about the traffic. Yeah. They've all found now a space. We've been doing it for 6 weeks. We're getting it. There are other ways that we could come together as a community outside of this. But again, it will become one of those things. You can't now unknow what you know. So I think there will be an element of, people's filming skills, people's social media skills, people's technological skills. Once I can work out how to do Zoom groups and you can send people off into separate groups, I think we will see some people will stay online, some people will blend. And of course, remember as well, I am Mrs. Antisocial. I'm a homebody. but we are herders, don't we? We like our community, so there will be other people where we do need to come back together. But the days maybe of the Rackham and Packham, 80 people squeezed into a class, don't know. Dan and I've been talking about this because, I mean, like, Dan had to buy the last set of 40 kilo dumbbells before lockdown. You know, he made a snap decision and we've converted the garage into a gym. Now he's desperate to get back to the gym.
Really?
Desperate. And he feels in the short term, again, you'll have to book your gym time.
Yeah. You
can't just turn up. So I think we're going to have this period, this transition period, where it will be, yes, you can do this, but only a maximum number of people. So again, if we've been used to filling classes with 60 or 80 or whatever, we're going to need to have those other income streams. And I think what we've all now learned is, I definitely feel you can still create community through this medium. I mean, I've been to cacao ceremonies, Reiki shares. You can still feel that energetic exchange. It's there when the intent and the presence is there. So maybe I'm talking from an introverted, antisocial perspective. For me, I think we're going to see much more online, but also much better packages available to our clients, because we've lost the fear of the video. We've lost the fear of filming. People are smashing out some amazing videos and thoughts and ideas. Am I allowed to mention names of, I mean, like Kim Tomlin, you know, I've desperately wanted to do Primal Flow. I know she's doing a workshop on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hurrah, you know, finally. So I can, a bit like you had the lovely lady yesterday from Almeria in Spain sitting out in the sunshine while we're all in the rain. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, we can't lose that. We can't lose that connection. But like you say, we'll do this and a bit of this. I think we'll just change, our business model will change. Again, I'm a massage aromatherapist. That's the bit I'm missing, the touch, the physical touch, and supporting people that way. And again, we don't know how long it will take for people to feel I know I've got a queue of customers waiting.
So
but I also
get out is book a massage with someone, and that, I think it's the things that you definitely can't do. People are missing, but it won't be booked before I've got my eyelashes done.
But then there are other people, you know, I'm seeing all these people with, you know, I'm a massage therapist, masks and all the rest of it. And I'm a bit like, okay, and who knows what the requirements will be before we can all come back to one-to-one. And, you know, that's a different discussion for a different day. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question. I think it's going to change our industry massively. I think, you know, you've already experienced, I've already experienced, we can actually get a bigger reach by doing 50, 40, 20% of our business this way. I think meetings, anyone that's, you know, in a role, I used to be in a corporate HR, I'd drive 4 hours for a 1 hour meeting. I think those days are done, which is kind of to the body, the mind, the environment. Yeah. I think it's making us really think about fundamentally how we do business.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mairi. I think, although I think, like you said, people, one of the big things that people are missing predominantly, I did a bit of a poll on Facebook and I said, what do you miss? And most people said hugs, kisses, contact. So I think manual therapy, you know, there is going to be some degree of people that are just desperate to get back to that in whatever staggered fashion they allow. Yeah. That's a natural human instinct, is the oxytocin that we get from human contact. But I agree, I think long term what it's done for me is like, you know, it's actually forced me to go, right, this is my weak area. Coaching people with vocabulary more than being there. And technical, you know, I mean, I'm just not a wordsmith at all. My weak area is being not that literate and being able to communicate. So I'm quite kinesthetic, but so it's really making me think as I do these webinars and CPDs online, how I how I vocalize it with limited other information to help me coach. But also the technical side of things, you know, I mean, Zoom's just gone from like this little company, you know, there are people who are finding success in, as you say, this current climate, but we've got to be mindful of and sensitive to those where it's obviously the negative side. But I think that the key part, it comes back to that duty of care. We can now reach people with our service anywhere in the world. You know, I mean, I was teaching people in Hong Kong a couple of weeks ago, in Asia, in the Americas, and I've had Amsterdam, I've had, you know, Spain, and you just think, well, wow, that's surely a good thing. But I think the challenge comes, as I'm speaking to the others, is like being movement specialists and understanding our role. I guess my next question then is, how do we stay safe? How do we use our knowledge of biomechanics coaching and any other skills that we've got, personal training skills, kettlebell skills? What differentiates us maybe as a biomechanics coach in terms of what we can do online, and how is that different? How is that challenging? I've asked a lot there, haven't I?
So yeah,
I mean,
one thing I'm just going to come back to, Ms. France, is you are incredibly literate and write some amazing posts and newsletters and blogs. So I think I'd like you to park that old story.
Thanks.
So that's that bit done. Oh my goodness, how do we differentiate?
As a biomechanics coach, let's say, okay, what do you think the misconceptions are about biomechanics coaching? And then when clients come to you, maybe more so now, particularly online, how are you as an I Move Freely instructor? Because I know you wanted to really take I Move Freely and run with it, which is amazing. I think it's the most important session right now online for everyone around the world, everywhere. What are the biggest misconceptions with what we do as biomechanics coaches, I Move Freely instructors, maybe compared to, I don't know, postural assessment, or, you know, those kind of techniques? What we faced with problems and misconceptions about what we do?
Well, I think as always, there's that parallel to the physiotherapist. Yes. And, you know, again, for me, I always say we both have a role to play. And I think probably what I found through all my time of working as a biomechanics coach is that people come with the knee problem and expect you to work on the knee. And then when you start to take the whole body approach, and as well for me, and I'm sure a lot of us do, I also bring in their nutrition and their lifestyle. They're a little bit like, I just want you to fix my knee. Why are you asking me whether or not I go for a poo every day? Yeah. You know, why are you asking me about my sleep? Why are you? And we become kind of like the first time it's ever been asked. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things, first of all, is, you know, and that was, again, for me, why I've always loved the biomechanics coaching, is that whole body approach. And that's something I will explain to my clients when they're coming is, okay, but do you know that your knee can get bullied by your hip or your foot? Do you know it could be your shoulder? And so I want to look at everything, and then we'll just work stage by stage. So that's I think that's one of the biggest things, is that whole body approach, rather than why aren't you fixing my knee? And then I think the other thing that's interesting is we're not stretching. Yeah. And it's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing? And then what did you just do? When they go, oh, when you do the retest, and they're like, or they get up and they're like, oh, what did you, and I just go, it's magic, you know, which I know we're not meant to, but it, you know, how else do you explain it to somebody other than, oh, it, you know, the Gold Guide tendons? And I loved it yesterday as well, which is why it's so important, gang, to get the refresh, is you just pick up those little nuggets, such as we're just inviting the body to remember how to release. You know, your body's forgotten or it can't. So let's remind it how to and let it want to. So I've probably garbled a little bit, but that for me, I think is the fundamental difference. And then it's that layering. And for me, this is again where the I Move Freely sits so beautifully, is giving people, they want to move. So being static doesn't compute to them because they've always been used to doing stretches. So to be able to do the release, then a bit of movement, release, I love it. I just love it.
I've loved teaching those I Move Freely sessions with her stuff, because what I would normally do if I'd set on my own, if I had the time previously, I would have planned out so many weeks. But because it was so week by week, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to try every variation I've always imagined. And it's given me a platform to play with I Move Freely cardio, I Move Freely strength, I Move Freely freestyle move, you know, and the brace and breathe. And I've totally enjoyed having the opportunity under a new environment to play with different sort of skills, but always thinking about our audience now. I have no idea who they are. So this is where I think, talking about our skills, you have to try and visualize the person who's not on video, who may be overweight or brand new, never done any exercise before. How can we connect without seeing them, without visually coaching them? You know, this might have been a person I could have never have reached before, and yet they can do I Move Freely and go, oh, I can do that. Oh, that I'm not moving a lot, but actually I feel better. Or, you know, it was put into a different package than I expected. So sometimes the surprise of what they get, it can be a negative experience, like, well, that wasn't sweaty and sexy, or it can be, actually that was better than I thought. I was more successful than I thought I was going to be.
And you've just reminded me, that's why I'm sort of going like that, because one of my longest standing friends messaged me and went, I'm not getting this I Move Freely, it's a bit boring, what's the point? And then she says, oh, it's not like yoga. And I went, no, because it's not yoga. And I said, it's designed to help you get more out of your yoga than you are now. It's not stretching, it's not yoga, it's not Pilates. It's specifically designed to help your body to release so that you can then go and enjoy whatever it is you want to do more. She loves it now, Rach.
Yeah, and I think it is for us as professionals, practitioners, I Move Freely instructors, is we've got to be the wordsmiths. We've got to be the ones who present it in a way that they understand it. Because to sit there and do a static isometric contraction is not a fitness class. And if they come in with that expectation, then they're disappointed. Whereas if you say, look, this is deliberately going to give you enough energy after, or leave you with enough energy to go and do Mairi's kettlebell size.
Yeah.
Do Michelle's indoor cycling. That is deliberate. So it's a class, it's a session that helps you move, but actually it's preparing you for this stuff. I want you to have the energy to do the other stuff. I'm going to leave you alone, so to speak, to save up some energy to go and do strength or, you know, whatever it is. So
and again, I think it's really important, because I know there's some really amazing technical people in our community, and then you've got me going, it's like a butterfly landing on your knee and you're just gently trying to push it. Don't talk to me, you know, about lats and this and that, and even internal rotation. I'm going, oh my God, what does that mean? You know, so we really, when we started this conversation and you zipped me up, so I'm going to say it now, I have never worked so hard teaching online as I have done in a classroom. And I think that's one of the reasons I love it, because I'm having to really, really use this and think about, like you say, all my verbal cues, every eventuality, all the adaptations, whilst keeping it to time, whilst keeping people engaged, whilst making sure that I'm covering all the safety aspects I can. And I find that really, it's given me a new lease of new lease of life. And like you said, look, in her spirit, you've got a new community. Who are the new people that you can connect with? Are there any local charities, age concern groups that you've never thought of going into before, who would absolutely benefit from a little bit of movement from people who are now sat in chairs all day?
Yeah, it is. You're right, and that's what's one of the things I think. It's kind of around that subject, but I'm just going to flip it a little bit. Is getting over the idea of having a professional. I'm in a back bedroom upstairs. Yeah, and
there you go. Yeah.
But I think what's happened is I've heard time later that people have come to me and they said, "Oh, I was afraid to come to your classes because you look a certain way," or I didn't come to you for PT because I thought, the PT who's, looks a bit more like me, I thought she'd understand me better than you would because you're so fit. And so these perceptions of who we are, I think it can be detrimental to us reaching certain people and demographics. And so I think being in a back bedroom, having like the dog shouting through the window, having, showing like I'm human, and actually talking about, my shoulders are a bit kind of like rubbish, they're a bit flappy, and I like this one, but you can see my left shoulder. It's just that honesty of we're forced now. Here's my front room. I mean, how personal and intimate is that?
Yeah.
I can invite 100 people tomorrow into my front room, for this thing. And there's a part of me that goes, oh, like that. And then there's another part that goes, hey, so what? It's my front room. So what? They're all showing their front rooms.
Yeah.
That sounds like euphemism. I'm not going to be showing, I'm going to be showing my house.
But it's that whole Joe Wicks thing, isn't it? Joe Wicks showed, like, everyone's seeing this space, and then behind it, he's got sofas in the hallway. He's got rubbish everywhere. I can look around. This looks gorgeous.
I've got my disguise, but it's just a bedroom door. There's a wardrobe, it's like, and I'm setting up. I'm going, oh, that's not too bad. There's not like a dressing gown. There was a dressing gown hanging up.
I did a live with a bra hanging off the chair behind me the other day.
But I think that allows people in. It gives them permission to go, oh, I'm normal. They're normal. They're like me. We're all a little bit chuck the bra on the side, and there's a bin full of pop cans or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there's that side of it where not just even what we're saying and doing, but like how we're representing ourselves in our front rooms or our gardens. I think that is endearing, and it's honest. Which is where I think when you are being that visible as we're trying to be to reach more people, they can see, oh, actually, we're a bit more like each other than I thought. Okay, I've got loads of questions, but I'm aware we haven't got all day.
No, I know. Whereas we could spend all day, couldn't we?
What do you think is a misconception around, it's like things like when you say we get compared to physios and, oh, that's postural assessment. How would you say that, describe what you do to a professional? So say another PT said, well, what's biomechanics coaching then? What do you do? Like
so what's biomechanics coaching to me? Biomechanics coaching for me is about inviting the client to get a better understanding of how their body moves. It's about giving them time on the couch and through the assessment to get a better understanding of the body, how it moves, so that they can then take that forward into their exercise with that PT, for example, and also so that they can feel empowered to manage their movement and therefore not just be reliant on one person to get them moving.
Oh, I kind of feel like I need to pay you for that one. I love it. And I think
that is all for me. Everything I do, Rach, and I think it's taken me a while. Because don't get me wrong, I was the control freak. You do what I say. I know best. I know your body better than you do, ever will. How dare you eat those chocolates, those cakes, or whatever? And now it's about, how do I empower you to feel confident to take control of your own body? You know, so for example, in our house, you know, Dan's had a bit of a sore knee. Oh my, you know, we've watched the videos, we've gone through this, we've put the bit of cardboard on that, we've done this exercise, we've looked at leg length, you know, we haven't, now obviously we're both coaches, so that, you know, that does help. But I love the fact that, you know, my clients will say, oh, I do that exercise every morning now, and it really helps me start the day, and I get out of bed and I don't feel niggly. Great, because like you just said, off you go and run. So it's all about complementing, isn't it? It's all about as well as, not instead of. But let's empower people in the same way that we would with nutrition or mindset, that you can look after your own body. And it's really simple. And just by, I mean, I've noticed the difference because I've been showing up now for 5-6 weeks doing I Move Freely every day. My body's like, hallelujah, where have you been? And it takes me like 10 minutes a day.
And I think there was a book I read, and I can't remember what it's called now. I was trying to think of it then, because it comes to my next question, asking your favourite book. But if I was to pick one word that really encapsulates everything I do, literally everything, it would be empowerment. And what I hope to do through the classroom experiences is empower professionals with the biomechanics coaching skills, trying to help them empower their clients to look after their own bodies. And I think that kind of piece, is it called One Word? I think it might be, the book might be called One Word. And
oh yeah.
I can't remember his name. And he talks you through how to evaluate everything you do, the purpose, and it's coming back to the core, the essence of everything you do. I have been empowered, and the empowerment I was given was such an amazing experience from where I had come from.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me the gift of feeling empowered, and I want to share that, and I want to pass it on. But there's these several layers of empowerment, and so what you said really touches right down into kind of the core of everything I hope to achieve through Biomechanics Coaching, through I Move Freely, through Biomechanics Education, and all the platforms that I'm trying to reach out to everyone and as many people as possible. It is exactly that, is empowerment. So thank you for highlighting that. But talking about books, I've got 2 more questions. Second to last is book recommendation. So it could be anything at all, as long as you explain why.
Oh my God, I'm just sat here going, oh gosh, let me look at my Audible, because I am never without headphones in, either listening to podcasts or listening. And you know, I think I'm going to start, let's go back to one book that absolutely was probably the first personal development book I read or listened to, and it is Lisa Nichols, who's a motivational speaker. So I'm just going to be really bad because I can't remember that. It's called Abundance Now. Right. by Lisa Nichols. And it was probably the first time I listened to somebody letting me know or empowering me just through their words that actually I could take control of my life. And some of the key takeaways from me from that book were: abundance isn't just wealth, that people and things are seasonal, and so some of our relationships are seasonal, and that is okay.
Yeah.
And depending on what season we were in will determine that relationship. And then another quote that Lisa Nichols, because she does some amazing podcasts. She, as I say, it's Lisa to Motivate, and she has a quote which I feel is so important now, and she says, we can't all go down together.
Yeah.
You cannot pull other people out of the hole if you are down in the hole with them.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is what's given me my sense of purpose and my sense of it's okay to keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm doing it with the purpose
helping people out,
of wanting to help other people get out of the hole.
I love that. Nice one. I've not heard about. I've heard of some of the concepts, and whether I've heard it from you previously, but I'm gonna have to check that one out. Being a book nerd myself.
Yeah.
And then finally, just if you can let anybody watching know, where can they find you? What platform? What's your website? Where are you in the world, etc. Online, obviously now. Let people know how they can find you.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, around about 8:30, doing my Wake Up with Mairi, and that is, you will either find it under New You Health and Fitness, because I haven't worked out how to change it, or just look for Mairi Taylor. You'll know it's me because there's a picture of a dog on his back saying just stay home. I'm on Instagram as Mairi_Taylor. I'm on LinkedIn, not so sure about that platform, don't think. You know, I've been trying, I've been doing some marketing around that. And I've got a brand new website coming out in the next 2 weeks, MairiTaylor.com, because we decided to own ourselves and we're branding ourselves. It's going to be Mairi Taylor, which will cover FABfitness, Essentially Fabulous, and Mairi Taylor Education. Ta-da!
Amazing. So, I mean, I could literally talk to you all day, but I've got, I'm doing the live Biomechanics Q&A today, 12 o'clock, every Wednesday at 12. So I've got to take a break because I've done a few interviews this morning. This will be up on YouTube, so anybody watching, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Mairi. I will hopefully see you soon.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. Take care, and all the best to everybody. If they need any help pulling out the hole, you know where to find me. All right, Rach, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.